why my planned alliance with Peter Obi failed. Kwakwanso. A former governor of Kano State and presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Kwakwanso, has explained why his alliance with Peter Obi, presidential candidate of the Labour Party, collapsed. Kwakwanso, who spoke in an exclusive interview with News Central TV, which was monitored by Daily Independent, said he turned down the request to serve as running mate to Peter Obi because the mood of the North does not support a Southern presidency. According to him, most Northerners wanted power to remain in the North even after President Muhammadu Buhari must have completed his 8 years in office. When told that many young Nigerians were unhappy with him that the planned alliance with Obi failed, Kwakwanso said, "Yes, I did everything possible for that alliance to work for many obvious reasons. In Kwakwansia, we are not in a hurry. In 2007, I could have tried to contest to become president because I was better qualified than almost everybody that contested at that particular time. I was a civil servant for 17 years. I was deputy speaker for the House of Reps. I was at the time the elected delegate for the Constitutional Conference of 2004 till 2007. So he gives his reasons as to why it collapsed, and from his belief, he believes, because I think it's actually very shameful, and to be honest, I think it's good that, for somebody like him, it's best he wasn't even the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party. And he also says that at the moment the mood in the North today is that the presidency should be in the North. That is why I couldn't accept to be his running mate. Are you serious? Is this your reasoning? Is it the reasoning that has been conditioned into the people of the North for so many years that they even begin to say what is not even to their favor? And I think that is why why it doesn't make sense is the fact that these individuals are suffering when it comes to insecurity. I think they're going through the worst of it, and you'd expect backlash, you'd expect, revolt, you'd expect protests from them, but it's not coming through. And so instead of him who wants a change, who wants to, help a change happen, you are meant to influence the people to think in a better way, because that mindset is going to work against their own progress. They cannot just believe that as long as the person or power remains in the North, what satisfaction do they get? Right now, someone from the North is the president, and they have gone through even worse attacks when it comes to their education, when it comes to children, and just living. Let alone, what the South is also facing with the living standards and, lower purchasing power because of the economy. So they're going through insecurity on a different level. And that's like, their shelter, which is very much important for their basic living. And you have this mindset, and instead of you to work against this mindset, you want to conform to it, meaning that you don't find anything wrong with it, so you're going to follow the same narrative. So you know what? It is a good thing, and maybe it is in the favor of the people and also Peter Obi not to have somebody who thinks like you, because if that is the reason that he is giving to justify why he did not work and the alliance with Peter Obi didn't work, then I think you saved us. We're literally saved, because that's not good. Well, the first comment here just states, your ego is leading you astray. And I don't doubt that. I think really you want to do whatever it takes to get there, and if it means conforming with a very bad mindset, you would. Just listen to yourself, that most Northerners want power to remain in the North even after Buhari's 8 years. Gone are the days when the rest of Nigeria will allow the North to clinch onto power like that. We are not fools. And yes, the fact is, the North has clinched onto power, but I think more than anything, the bigger thing is the Northern elite. So if they're, pushing an agenda, or not agenda, but just the mindset over the years that they deserve to be in power, even when somebody is suffering, in the north and it's time for them to vote, they wouldn't think of themselves. What they've been convinced is that what matters is that power is given to them. But really, is that power reaching you as an average citizen? It isn't. And those you have also put in power, they're not doing their job. So really, it is a mindset, and they need to reframe their minds of what the government is to them. And this obviously in so many ways just pushes division, and that is why if we're thinking like this, we will never be one, because being one is not just having one name or having one passport. It has to be in the mindset. It has to flow through our culture as Nigerians, where we would not necessarily use the fact that this person is from another state and they are so different from me to be justification to be prejudiced towards them. That in itself is a problem. And maybe that is why some people are like, you know what, let us separate because we are too different. And let us be realistic. Nigeria is 3 countries in one. So what a usual country would face, a lot of countries, they have one language. A lot of countries, the difference between the north, the west, the east, the south is probably just the dialect, but it's the same language anyway. And so the problem is, for peace, and that's what I'm saying, our division doesn't make us shine, because we now even have our official language as English, which in itself is a problem. We are really divided in the mind. In the mind, we are very much, we think we are so different from one another that it really shows in the way we relate with one another. But the point is, if the North would see themselves as one with Nigeria, it would not matter if this individual is from the North or from the South. But then, of course, the South already is in this, I guess they have this reservation for the fact that over the years and how it has been is that power has resided in the North, and it's overwhelmingly in the North. That is where we're like, you know what, we need to change things. So you really have 2 parts of the country that are fighting different fights based on division. Because really, I don't think it will be a problem, or I don't think the conversation of zoning and rotation would be a problem because imagine the people that are in power who happen to be from the North were actually doing their job. Don't get me wrong, there are top societies, first world countries that till today they still have strong arguments as if their systems are crashing down. But at the end of the day, improvement is always key. But in this point, my point is, what if the people in the North actually did what they meant to do? Raise the standard of living, reduce corruption. They did what they meant to do, and people were happy to a very large extent, and we were not facing third world country problems. Then the conversation wouldn't be as intense. In fact, we would then get to fixing societal issues and talking about division, and then we can start looking at the mind. But all of us are so impoverished with our standard of living. Yes, we may have the capacity, but your purchasing power and your empowerment goes up and down, fluctuates. So when it comes to living a good, peaceful life in terms of having the basic necessities, we are all impoverished. So when we're not fine, when we're not fully taken care of, how are we able to have conversations? Put what you think about this in the comment section below. And do not forget to like and subscribe.